Maybe I get. Oh, I missed that slide. Let's start over. Right? As soon as you hit a couple things a little goofy, you're gonna start like your brain is gonna be like locking onto those, and it's really easy to overcomplicate it and start like basically thinking too much. And as you start thinking more, it'll start slowing you down. Um, yeah, it's all a mental thing. Not even like the physical side of it. Um, I've seen you do this too when you're here, right? Where you just like, even if you're like, you're just goofing around, right? You're just like, we're talking or something, and you're kind of noodling around. A lot of times it's like, way more relaxed and stuff like that. So as you're practicing, as you're going through the practice session, you want to be able to think like, or you want to try and like evaluate where you might have tension, try and like see if there's anything you can relax with. Like I've said, for me, it's been my picking hand a lot lately. Um, and yeah, just like like people's abilities. I mean, you're definitely in this. You're far better than you give yourself credit for. It's very difficult to. What am I trying to say? It's not a consistent thing quite yet. So you're not being able to just sit down and just nail it, right? And so there's the consistency aspect of this, and then I think for like for you, like I said, it's well, not just for you specifically, but it's starting to think or to do too much in your head as you're practicing. Like simplify it, right? So um, when you're practicing, like we talked about the bursts and the slow and speeding up, you also kind of want to think about this like sometimes you'll practice bigger chunks, sometimes you're just going to practice little ones and not worry about the context. So like with the transition that's happening here, I don't like the way that they wrote this because they have it going. That's how I would do it. But yeah, that would be so much easier. So in do you if you don't have a version of this in Tux Guitar or whatever, I can get it to you for that. Because this is what I would do a lot of as far as building this stuff up. I would just put this like, let's say we were doing the 70% thing. And you can do it where it like starts, it loops, and you can do it where it trains you to start slowly get faster. This can be a good one to do too, where you have, say, 70 to 100%. Yeah, I gradually get boosted up. Yeah, the other like I said, for you, it is a big part of that is the consistency. You can nail things all the time, but it's not always the same thing that you nail, right? So like, just a random example, but there's times when you might be playing a riff and you hit almost everything, but you lose it on the picking hand the first time around. The next time, maybe you hit a weird note with your left hand or something, and then the next time you do, So with this, when you're playing that, this little idea that you had here from when you sent, let's do this, right? So the thing is, on that second measure that they were doing here, I don't like that they hit the 16 and then 17. I would rearrange that. So when you're in, let me just move over to here. If you're in here, you can, whatever note you have selected, if you hit Alt and then the arrow keys, see how it changes? It changes the fret that it's played, or the string that it's played on. It does not change the note. So this, like that fourth fret there, that'd be stupid, but you could play that phrase by doing that with the fourth fret all the way down there. You could have the ninth fret, you have 14. That's the one that I would end up doing, because then you have. I think that one sounds the best. So here, so yeah, so we had this whole part. You see that little bit there? And so since that's like kind of a pretty conclusive part, and then it's going to move on to the next set of two, I would really just focus on getting that real solid. I think the hardest thing, or at least I would say the hardest thing about this is you're constantly changing strings, which is the harder part, and the sequencing isn't symmetrical, right? Almost all the time when you see people doing sweeps and stuff, they're doing something like 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, right? Like just different pattern. Maybe they're going like 5, 3, 3, 5. Moving around with whatever. So in this case, when you have like almost like a scale pattern with it, that's why one of the reasons I think this part sounds so cool. It's a different sequence than you see a lot of times for sweeps. And even though there's like no slide there, I would probably add one just because I think it sounds cool. And then the most, I don't want to say most important, but this is an important thing.